You know, lots of people ask me via certain platforms and things, what is it like working for certain companies? And what I wanted to share with you today, because simply they are in the news. We're talking about the American news channel CNN, which is truly in turmoil, flatlining, ratings wise, all of that sort of stuff. They recently decided to put their, well, I say recently, about probably 2 years ago now, they shifted their headquarters over to Atlantic City. At one point, they were going to do even bigger over here in London. And, you know, it's a strange company when you think about it because, you know, as I say, people don't know the inner workings of what it's like working in television. Now, CNN is a very strange sort of beast, as it were, because one of the reasons I don't really enjoy, you know, working with them or appearing on their channel is simply this, you know, they book you on. And here's where it gets strange. They tell you the narrative. So it doesn't matter what you think. They say, we'd like your comment on this. We saw you on X show, so we'd like you to come on. So you come on, and then they basically say, this is the line we're taking. These are the questions. Could you tell us what your answers will be? And if you tell the answers that you say you're going to say on air, and they don't like them, then they unbook you. Now, the bigger problem for CNN isn't just the new boss, Chris Licht. I mean, he's obviously, you know, got really not much idea about what to do with the staff because it becomes really, really difficult. Even when you go to the London office over here, they're absolutely clueless as to what platform, what direction they're going. But I'll tell you the inside track. You see, CNN don't pay you to appear as a contributor. They simply don't. They refuse, doesn't matter who you are, unless they thought you were really, really worthwhile, a big story. Someone like me simply would not offer any money. So first and foremost, they don't want to pay you. Secondly, if they want you in the studio, they only offer you a cab one way. So it could either be to or from. You can't have it both ways. When you arrive at the studio, they very quickly tell you, oh, the format's changed a bit now, we're going to do this in an hour. So you're sitting around at their bequest, you know, when they've decided. And if all else goes wrong, you can simply be axed, binned, removed, told you're no longer needed. But later in the day, as had happened to me recently regarding a royal story, they said, oh, could you now come back? Now, as you can imagine, I said, no, I'm incredibly busy. It's not possible. Oh, what about Skype? No. What about Zoom? No, I'm really busy. No desire. Thank you very much. And what's interesting here is this is exactly how the mainstream media works. They believe, particularly with their very young, wokest people who are producers now at this level, and that's not an ageist thing, it's simply the way it is. If you, for instance, say, well, you know, I might agree with certain elements of Donald Trump's town hall speech, as we saw with Anderson Cooper, you're fired. You're not allowed on. If you're not agreeing with Meghan Markle on every single facet, they don't want to know you. It's the same with many of the major channels, hence the reason why I decided to start this channel for you. And I wanted to tell you exactly how the mainstream media works. Some might say, why would you do that? You work for the mainstream media. I would say the landscape is dramatically changing. And the bottom line is people are sourcing their news from various different ways, finding people that they can trust. Hence the reason when I built this community along with your good selves, who have been so kind to support it, I feel it's imperative that we're open and honest about how things are played out. So for those that were asking about CNN, well, they're going to try and change their direction. But my advice would be simply this. They're going to have to remove a lot of their top talent and, more importantly, going to have to shift some of the producers with their very right-on, if you like, views that don't necessarily correlate with the major American public and the rest of the world tuning in various forms. Either way, if you're a fan of CNN, you're going to watch an explosion happening with one of the wealthiest news channels literally in the world. They have the highest wage turnover, and yet producing all of those people, they simply cannot produce, seemingly, the truth. As ever, I'd love to know what you think to this particular story in the comments below. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.